What if I told you that in 2026, you can get a real 5.1 home theater experience with a wireless subwoofer, rear speakers, and even Dolby Atmos for less than $300? Yeah, the same features that used to cost you $700 or $800 just a few years ago. I know that sounds too good to be true, but stick around because today we're breaking down the best soundbars under $300 that are genuinely shocking people with their audio quality. We're talking 5 real picks, real comparisons, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one is right for your room and your setup. And before we dive in, drop a comment right now telling me what soundbar or TV speakers you're currently using and what's frustrating you about your sound setup. I read every single comment. If this kind of content helps you, hit subscribe and leave a like. It really does help this channel grow. The problem with TV speakers and why this matters. So let's start with the real problem. You spend $800, maybe $1,200 on a gorgeous 4K TV. The picture is stunning. Then you sit down, fire up a movie, and the sound that comes out is thin, flat, and honestly embarrassing. That's not your fault, it's just how modern flat-screen TVs are built. They're so slim, there's no physical room for decent speakers inside. The result? Dialogue that's hard to follow, bass that doesn't exist, and action scenes that feel like they're happening in a cardboard box rather than a cinema. For years, the only real fix was spending $500 to $1,000 on a proper soundbar system. Anything cheaper felt like a minor upgrade at best, a little louder, maybe a touch warmer, but nothing that truly transformed the experience. But that wall has officially broken in 2026. Brands like Samsung, Vizio, Jabil, Hisense, and Bose have pushed serious technology down into the $250 to $300 price range. And the results are genuinely hard to believe until you hear them for yourself. What makes these soundbars so shocking? Before we get to the specific picks, let's talk about what actually makes these bars impressive, because it's not just about being louder than your TV. The first thing that changed is channel count. A real surround sound setup has multiple speakers placed around you, front, center, sides, and rear. Budget bars used to fake this with simple stereo processing that never really convinced anyone. Now you're getting actual 5.1 systems with wireless subwoofers and rear satellite speakers at under $300. That means sound that actually moves around you during movies, not just sound that comes from in front of you. The second big shift is in sound tuning tools. Features like 7-band EQ, multiple listening modes, and even room correction technology, where the bar actually listens to your specific room and adjusts itself accordingly, used to live exclusively on $600 plus models. In 2026, they're standard in this price range. That's a massive leap. And third, dialogue clarity has gotten dramatically better. Dedicated center channels and voice enhanced modes mean you can finally hear every word without cranking the volume to maximum. If you've ever turned on subtitles not because you wanted to, but because you genuinely had no choice, a good soundbar completely solves that problem. Samsung HW-B750D, best overall, under $300. Let's get into the picks. Starting with the Samsung HW-B750D, which is the best all-around option in this price range. It's a 5.1 soundbar that uses side-firing drivers to create that surround effect without needing rear satellites cluttering your room. You can typically find it under $300 on Amazon or Samsung's own website. What makes it shocking is how balanced it sounds straight out of the box. The bass is punchy without being overwhelming, the mids are clear, and the highs are crisp without being harsh or fatiguing over long listening sessions. Samsung includes a dedicated center channel driver, which is a big deal. It's the reason dialogue stays clean and locked to the screen even during busy, loud action sequences. You also get a 7-band EQ and multiple listening modes, including a voice-enhanced setting specifically designed for dialogue-heavy content like dramas and news. Think of this one as the weight. This actually costs under $300. Bar. It doesn't have Dolby Atmos, but its virtual 5.1 surround and overall tuning honestly feel like something that should cost twice as much. Vizio SV51X. Best true 5.1 surround under $300. Next up is the Vizio SV520X0806, and this is the pick for anyone who wants the closest thing to a real home theater setup without spending a fortune. It comes with the soundbar, a wireless subwoofer, and actual rear satellite speakers, meaning sound genuinely surrounds you from all directions, not just from in front of you. What's remarkable about this one is that it supports Dolby Atmos content. Now, to be clear, it's down-mixed Atmos rather than true overhead audio, but the fact that it's even in the conversation at this price point is wild. Dialogue stays intelligible even when explosions are happening around you, and the bass, while it can be a touch boomy straight out of the box, responds well to the built-in bass and treble controls once you dial it in. This is the bar to buy if you've always thought surround sound and Atmos were $700 features. With the Vizio, they're not anymore. JBL Bar 300, best compact Atmos bar. The JBL Bar 300 takes a completely different approach. It's a 5.0 bar, no external subwoofer, no rear satellites, but it packs around 260 watts across multiple front-facing and upward-angled drivers to create virtual Dolby Atmos from a single slim unit. If you live in an apartment, a smaller space, or just don't want cables and extra speakers scattered around your room, this is the answer. JBL includes a room calibration assistant that actually tunes the bar to your specific space, which is something you'd normally expect on a much more expensive system. It handles movies, TV shows, and music equally well and comes loaded with connectivity options including HDMI ARC, optical, Bluetooth, and more. It's one of the most versatile bars on this list. Think of this one as the music lover's Atmos bar. It doesn't shake your floors, but everything sounds refined, wide, and genuinely impressive for its size and price. Hisense AX Fiat 125H. Maximum features for the money. Now, if you want the most speakers, the most features, and the most immersive experience for the least amount of money, the Hisense AX Fiat 125H is your pick. It's a full 5.1 system, soundbar, wireless sub, and 2 rear speakers, with virtual Dolby Atmos overhead processing, usually priced between $250 and $300. It's not as refined as the Samsung or Jibble when it comes to fine audio tuning, but the sheer sense of immersion it creates at this price is honestly hard to argue with. Effects move around you, voices stay clear up front, and the bass has real weight to it. For someone who just wants to feel like they're inside the movie without a complicated setup or a big budget, the Hisense delivers in a way that still surprises people. Bose TV speaker, best for dialogue in small rooms. And then there's the Bose TV speaker, which is a completely different kind of recommendation. It's a simple 2.0 bar, no subwoofer, no surround, nothing fancy, but it does one thing better than almost anything else at this price: voices. Bose has always had a reputation for clear, forward-sounding dialogue, and this bar is no exception. It's under 24 inches wide, incredibly slim, and fits under virtually any TV without looking out of place. At moderate and low volumes, speech sounds remarkably natural and easy to follow. If you're setting up a bedroom TV, buying a gift for an elderly family member, or living in a small apartment where a big 5.1 system would genuinely be overkill, the Bose TV speaker is quietly one of the smartest purchases you can make under $300. Which one should you actually buy? So how do you choose between all 5? Here's the simple version. If you want the best all-around experience with great tuning and a clean, balanced sound, go with the Samsung HW B750D. If you want real surround sound with rear speakers and Atmos support, the Vizio SV510X is your bar. If space is limited and you still want premium Atmos sound without the clutter, the JBL Bar 300 is built for you. If you want maximum features and immersion for every single dollar you spend, the Hisense AX5125H wins on value. And if dialogue clarity is your single biggest priority in a small or medium room, trust the Bose TV speaker to deliver. The bottom line is this: the sub-$300 soundbar market in 2026 is genuinely exciting territory. Features that once required a serious budget are now completely accessible to everyone. And the gap between budget and premium sound has never been smaller. Your TV deserves better audio. And the good news is, you no longer have to spend a fortune to finally get it. That's everything for today's breakdown. If you found this helpful, hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find this video. Subscribe if you're new so you don't miss the next comparison. And drop a comment below telling me which soundbar you're going with and what room you're putting it in. I read all of them, and I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one.